What's up, guys? Scottoria here again. I always feel like it's been a while since my last YouTube video. I was just live streaming on YouTube and on Twitch. So make sure you guys hop over to twitch.tv/Scottoria. It's over here on my little fancy overlay, as well as my Twitter account where I always post whenever I'm going live and anytime I drop a YouTube video. So we are going to discuss some pretty OP attacks that I'm just seeing so much of at the 10v10 level. So, and that's not even necessarily the only thing we're going to be covering. Today was quite eventful. I actually got the 10v10 6-pack this war. Did not expect it. Did not do a terrible amount of planning. Leadership, if you're watching, you didn't hear that, but it's true. My first attack was Mass Miner. Took me about 2 or 3, I would say about 3 minutes to plan. Once again, leadership, you didn't hear that. I watched the replay, saw some traits of a base that just screamed Mass Miner. And guys, before I kind of continue on with what I'm planning to discuss today, I've got to say this. And we touched base a little bit on this on stream tonight. However, yeah, I've got to say it now as well. When it comes down to, and I hear this all the time. He's running Witch Slap. He's running Mass Miner, Spam Miner, Spam Lalo. Who cares? If it's putting a W on the board, if it's putting a green line in your clan's war log, at the end of the day, who cares whether it be Mass Miner, Witch Slap, whatever. Whenever you hear about a war that's going on, Code Enigma, which is Buy Forever Family Clan versus Cryptic Void, or whatever clan is matched up, you're like, oh, hey, those two guys are matched. Oh, what's the current 10v10 count, 11v11 count? Nobody asks what troop comps are they running at 10v10. No, hell no. Whenever you see a victory, Buy Forever just beat, I don't know, whatever other clan. Well, how many 10v10s? What was the 10v10 count? No, and no one says what were those 10v10 attacks? Hell no. So by all means, if you see a base that can be Mass Minered or Witch Slapped or whatever easy troop comp there is out there, use it. I'm going to show you guys tonight how to identify a base that can easily be Mass Miner. I literally just took a look at the base. All I had to do was see what was in the CC, kind of see where the skellies were, some traps for extra knowledge, and bam, executed it. Literally 2-3 minutes of planning, and then 10v10 triple on the board. And the reason why I say this, guys, and I have to stress this, is because too many times I see Mass Miner bases and people using like super sexy, intricate attacks on it, which by all means, it's fantastic. I like seeing beautiful attacks being executed. It's awesome. And when you see these crazy like 15 wall breaker queen charge Lalos, or P.E.K.K.A.s, even a 10v10 being thrown in there, I like those type of attacks. However, at the same time, I don't like it when it takes about 7 of those type of attacks in order to get the 3-star, when it could have just been 1 Mass Miner, because those attacks could have gone elsewhere and put more stars on the board on a different base. Like I said, that did not happen this war. I'm just talking about other wars that I've been in the past. Like I said, I see it too much. If you see a base that can be easily Mass Minered, Spam Laloed, freaking Witch Slap, do that. Put a green line in your clan's war log. Don't try and get fancy. Now my second attack, I ran a Shattered Hobo. We are gonna break down that attack and kind of show you, because I actually had a couple people on stream tonight asking about how I plan pathing for my hogs. But the other OP attack I'm wanting to touch base on is Dragons. Mass Miner and Dragons, in my opinion, are the two most OP 10v10 metas at the moment. And people are probably going to disagree with me. I know the argument's always there for Sui Lalo, because in theory, if you have the raw talent, then in my opinion, Sui Lalo or Queen Walk Lalo, or you can use that on any base. Let's be real. I have seen people accidentally click attack on the wrong base and still drop a 10v10 triple with Sui Lalo, just because they have that raw talent, they have that ability. However, not everyone has that level of skill set. So I would say the most OP troop metas at the moment have got to be Mass Miner and Dragons. And we have 1 or 2 drag attacks in this war that were 10v10s that we're gonna kind of break that down and discuss how they executed it, and so you can start practicing it yourself. I know I need to practice it. I'm not very good at dragons just yet, but it's something I plan on FCing and getting better at, and then I can kind of start giving a little bit more insight and dropping triples with it too. So we also had, well, let's go ahead and show you guys some of the statistics from this war. We had 2 11v11 triples. I'm reading this up from up top above my head. So weirdly enough, guys, I was looking at the stats for this war, and weirdly enough, we actually got more. We had a better 11v11 hit rate than we had on 11v10 dips. It's nuts. And nothing against our 11s. It's just, it caught me off guard. 10v10s, we went 5 for 2, and like I said before, we went 5 for 2, 10v10. No one's gonna ask me, oh, what troop comps did you guys run for all 5 of your 10s? No. And breakdown, it says 3, 9, 13 for us. However, guys, one of those 10s, I know it is slightly in our advantage, but one of those 10s didn't even have Infernos. Brand new Town Hall 10. I think he's got a couple extra archer towers, or a couple upgraded archer towers, so we do have that slight advantage in that department. But it was a pretty even war, pretty even matchup. Cryptic, Void did a great job. It was a pleasure warring with them. And yeah, so we're gonna kind of dive in and take a look at some of the attacks that were used. First, I'm gonna break down, like I said, just this crazy. It's weird to say this crazy OP attack, Mass Miner, but it's true. I feel like I can literally just log in, look at a base, boom, attack is already planned, executed, and tripled, and results speak for themselves. If you're dropping 10v10 triples back to back with this troop comp, I mean, it's got to be OP. Am I right? And then we're gonna show my second 10v10 triple. I'm gonna break it down. It was a shattered hobo, and then we're gonna go into the 11v11s, and we're gonna show the 10v10s. And when we hit the dragon attack, then I want to kind of break that down a little bit too, because like I said, those are just so crazy OP, and it's nuts. What's nuts about this war is we saw several different metas being used across the 10v10 front, so we're gonna get a little piece of everything, and it's the perfect one to essentially make a YouTube vid on. So let's go ahead and let's kind of get a little bit more zoomed in view on this attack. All right, so I'm gonna hit pause real quick, and I've got to say, this base was attempted on 4 times before I attacked it. No, excuse me, 3 times before I attacked it. Now, had we just ran Mass Miner on it from the beginning, then those 3 other attacks could have been used elsewhere. And that's what I'm saying. I'm going to show you guys how to identify a base that can easily be Mass Minered. If you see one of these type of bases, just freaking Mass Miner it. Don't try and do some kind of crazy Queen Charge Lalo or some kind of nonsense. At the end of the day, do what needs to be done to pull off that triple and to put stars on the board and make it happen for your clan. All right, so one of the first thing I noticed was obviously the Inferno towers not overlapping each other. They're obviously on opposite sides of the base. Crazy, I know. As well as the base itself being relatively condensed for all its defenses. All of its defenses are just all right here in this one essentially rectangle shaped base. Easily. Just all right there. So as soon as the miner pops his head up, boom, he's already on to the next defense. No real space or real estate in between one building to the next. The next thing I'm going to point out is the location of the heroes. Now, he's got a king off to the side where he's not going to, the miners aren't going to be pulled over to the king when they're trying to take out an Inferno tower. That's something I kind of look at, because this is one of those things that gets your miners cooked. If the heroes are too close to those Inferno towers, your miners will start to path over to the Inferno and get within its range, and then they'll redirect. They'll redirect from the Inferno and go toward CC as well as heroes. Now, in this case, the queen is overlapping, and she could be pulled as soon as those miners kind of get within that Inferno range. However, that's nothing a rage spell can't deal with. So that's not a deal breaker there. You just drop a rage spell, they'll clear real quick, and then they'll hop back over to the Inferno tower, clear it, and then continue on mission. So But we do at least have the king out of the way. Like I said, not a deal breaker, but it's something that's just a bonus. You see that setup just like this, and you're like, oh man, mass miner, point blank. And then you kind of dive into the details. I watched the replay and saw. Now here is the number one thing that made me say this base is for sure going to be minered. Is in that CC, in this clan castle, he was running a Hound Loon. I saw a Hound Loon come out during the replay. I was like, okay, this base is done. That's it. Hands down, that's it. He's finished. Hound Loon. Oh, no, excuse me. It wasn't even Hound Loon. I think it was a Hound Wizzy at that, which is even worse. Well, worse for them. It was either Hound Wizzy, Hound Loon. Regardless, the fact that it was air was not a Golem. If you see a Golem come out, then you got to kind of reevaluate. It can still be done. I have, in fact, dropped 10v10 triples with a Golem in the CC. However, you run the risk of the miners getting redirected within Inferno range, and they're going to hold up on that Golem and take too much time in there while the Inferno Tower cooks them. Now, I dropped my king over on this side, mainly because I want him to path and he can actually take this mortar, potentially. Whether he gets it or not, it's not going to be a huge deal breaker, but if he has an opportunity to contribute to the attack by getting to take out a mortar. Whereas if he was on this side, I mean, I guess he could take a mortar, but however, take a little bit more. See how he's got less buildings to get through in order to get to it, whereas this one kind of rolling the dice a bit as to making sure these point defenses don't take him out before he takes this mortar out. So I put him over there, and I put the queen up on this side, so that way she could potentially grab this mortar as well as a Wizzy tower. I feel like I get a little bit more value from the queen being on that side. And then, of course, spamming the miners from the 12 o'clock over to the 9 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and do ×2. As like I said before, we had a little bit of that overlap with the queen here. And it's nothing a rage spell can't handle. I drop a rage. Bam. And yes, it just barely peeks into that Inferno Tower. A lot of times you can put it just past it as well. But they clear her, take out that Inferno, and start padding forward. Drop the 2 heals. GG. Drop a poison. As soon as you see Skellies pop up, boom. Poison's out. Generally, I like to hold on to it until the miners get closer to the second Inferno, just in case Skellies pop out in that radius. So that way, because those are the Skellies you really want to poison if some popped out in the Inferno Tower. But I believe one of the scouts showed that they didn't have any Skellies, any ground Skellies in this bottom Inferno compartment. So there's really not much of an issue me using the poison in the core. So yeah, easy peasy there. So that was my first 10v10 triple in this war. I'm gonna show you my second one. This one was a little bit sexier, so I like to say. It was I keep wanting to say queen charge. It was a shattered hobo. One of the attacks that was used on the space beforehand was a what did he run? He ran a shattered gobo lalo. Almost the exact same beginning, except his bowlers walked to the right and his queen walked to the left. And then, so what happened was the kill squad wasn't really quite able to take some of those back end defenses, so it kind of burned those loons out toward the end. So what I did was dropped a bowler here to kind of help bowler bounce, and take out these two to help establish that funnel, along with the heavy Wizzies on this side, and then over here, this one being outside of this cannon range, so it can easily take that one for free. Drop 2 Wizzies here to potentially grab this elixir storage, and my ultimate goal was to take out this cannon, because once this cannon is done, and me dropping a jump spell right here, pathing into this first Inferno Tower, means the bowlers are not going to walk right. So I dropped the Wizzies on this barracks and this one, so that way they can path right into that cannon after they clear this dark elixir, and then these two will be gone from the bowler. As well as, guys, keep in mind the next defense that this bowler really has to kind of worry about is this archer tower, so he could potentially grab this, and this, which is added value. So one bowler should grab quite a bit of value for cleaning up garbage. And guys, remember, whenever you're running hogs at 10v10, garbage cleanup is key. It's because it comes down to time. And anytime you run hogs, it comes down to whether or not you have enough time for those hogs to clear the base and then you to clean out the garbage. So a bowler being able to clear some of this garbage out early on is actually pretty good value. And then we start our hog run after the kill squad. So we're going to go ahead and hit play. Like I said, I hit my bowler bounce over here, over the elixir collectors. And there's the golem. Now bear in mind, I actually dropped my golem outside like this, so that way it can pull this cannon. Instead of just dropping it over here and going straight to that mortar, I drop it over here by the elixir pump, a dark elixir pump, excuse me. So that way this cannon gets pulled on it, so that way these wizzies are unaffected while they take out the buildings on the outside there and help establish the funnel. Same thing with this golem out here, allowing those wizzies to get in and pull that cannon. As you can see, the funnel being established. This bowler out here on the right hand side, kind of heading a little bit more toward the 3 o'clock, just picking off garbage, just taking it out, handling business. Bowlers beautifully funneled. I think we have one guy that happens to kind of walk out to the side areas for no reason. So we drop the poison, kill squad gets into the core, and at this point, I'm gonna hit pause real quick. I was thinking to myself, okay, now I could theoretically just start running hogs now, maybe kind of pull some of the defenses, or while the defenses are kind of distracted on the kill squad. However, at the same time, I also thought maybe I should wait for the kill squad to kind of fully get full value and start to fizzle, and that's the option I ended up taking, so that way they can take out as many of the defenses as possible. And then starting the hogs, I come in over at the 3 o'clock with them. A couple over here on the mortar to kind of start clear it, and I held off on dropping it onto this Wizzy tower until the Inferno started its raise, which would mean the hogs made it past this archer tower. So as soon as they make it past this archer tower, come within the range, I drop the rest of those hogs on this Wizzy, drop the freeze spell to catch that Wizzy tower, so that's less splash damage being put out onto my hogs. And then drop the freeze spell, because as you can see, that initial Wizzy tower here did quite a bit of damage to my main force. So I went ahead and dropped the freeze there, and I knew they were going to go into a giant bomb. Anytime you see a base like this in a low weight 10, they're expecting ground attacks. So generally there's giant bombs inside those compartments, so just be ready for those. And then I held off on my poison, poison heal spell into that second Wizzy. Now something I will say, speaking of poisons, you'll notice that as soon as I saw the skellies come out over here, because there were skellies that popped out near this Inferno tower, I dropped my poison immediately. Immediately, guys. I can't stress this enough. Whenever you're running hogs, as soon as you see skellies pop out early on in an attack, always drop your poison. Don't wait. Don't see if maybe the hogs will outrun the skellies and get a little bit more value before dropping the poison. No, as soon as you see skellies pop out, drop your poison and take them out. Yes, I did. As you can see, I popped out, or I drew more skellies. That's fine. The base is already almost wrecked. That's fine. Now keep in mind, had I not poisoned that initial skelly group, then a lot of my hogs wouldn't have made it this far, would not have cleared this many of the defenses. So it's added value there. Now I'm gonna have to outrun them, which is fine because I have a queen over here, a little bit closer to the 8:30, and she was able to get through that wall while the hogs take out that last mortar and start to contribute with garbage cleanup. As you guys can see, I had some cleanup Wizzies. I started over by the 3 o'clock that are starting to make their route around the 12, and able to finish off the rest of this base, wrecking it. I think I had, at the time, I think I had like 40 seconds left or something. It was nuts at this point. This one took quite a bit of planning. I kept looking at this base throughout the day while I was at work, just kind of planning as I went, and I'm happy how it turned out. Very, very, very sexy attack, I've got to say. All right, so we're gonna go into the next OP attack meta, which I believe is this one. Yes, dragons. Okay, guys, so dragons is the one I was talking about. We have got miners, as in my opinion, miners the #1 best 10v10 troop comp, just because it's a lot more reliable than most at dropping 10v10 if you choose the right base. If you choose the right base, miners will work for you every time, as long as you know how to run them. And this one being #2, I feel like this one's a little bit more versatile. I feel like more bases are prone to dragon attacks, because I've been seeing this quite a bit lately in a lot of different wars. And you're kind of seeing what he's kind of targeting here, which are air defenses, which he took out down by the 6 o'clock, as well as opening up that pathway to this Inferno tower, as well as this next air defense here. We're doing a Sui Queen up by the 12 o'clock to take that top air defense. So it's essentially 2. He's grabbing right off the bat there. And then having 2 back end. Queen looks like she did walk the wrong way. However, looks like it's an easy adjustment. Easy adjustment to be able to take out that air defense. I mean, he's pretty much opened up the pathway straight too, as well as that second Inferno Tower. Drops the haste, and as you can see, haste those loons directly into the air defense, clearing it just before they die. Dragons get released. As you can kind of see here, I'm going to hit pause. You can kind of see that funnel that's been established from the top at the 12 and down by the 6 o'clock that just goes from right to left, straight from the 3 o'clock to the 9 o'clock, allowing dragons to just carve right through the space, especially going head first with the bulk of their force straight into the air defenses, or the, archer towers, which can target air. So while he has most of his dragons healthy, all those healthy loons, he targets a spot of the base that has most of the air capability defenses. As you can see, back end here, they're all ground units like cannons, bomb towers, barbarian king. So he expects his force to be weakened by the time they get to that point. So by taking it out early on while they're strong, he's able to easily carve through it and take that base out. As you can see, it's been pretty much wrecked. We're gonna go ahead and hit ×2 here. Absolutely destroyed this space. A lot of times you see dragon attacks, just you got like 1 or 2 dragons at the end. I mean, he's got what, 4 and a cluster of loons and a hound at that is unpopped, an unpopped hound to top it off. So I've got to say, I mean, this dragon attack is something exactly like this too. Exactly like this. Generally you see what, 10 loons, 8, 9 dragons. This is pretty similar to this. Minor adjustments. You a lot of times see that hound loon CC. A lot of times you see, clone loons. So when they drop their clan castle, they try and clone that maxed out loon that pops out. Kind of get that added attack power, firepower coming in. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the rest of these 10v10 triples, and then we're gonna hop over and watch the 11v11 trips that occurred this woo. All right, so we've got a Queen Walk Bowlers Bewitch. Kind of going the politically correct way of saying it here. As you can see, opening it up with a Queen Walk here, establishing that funnel, taking out that Town Hall early on. If you'll notice, he doesn't have wall breakers. Just kind of keeping her on the outside, keeping that walk flowing as such, kind of starting to cycle around the 3 o'clock. Open up the pathway straight to that first Inferno Tower. So we're going to go ahead and hit ×2 so that we can kind of start to see how this attack plan begins to develop. He drops the 1 bowler over by the 3 o'clock, and he actually kind of bowler bounces, was that 3 buildings? That's nuts. He comes in, quite a bit of value from him, mainly on saving time, I guys. Remember, time savers are also, in my opinion, considered value. All right, so he drops the rest of those bowlers, those witches, and take a look from what he did. I'm gonna hit pause real quick. From his Queen Walk, he established that relatively decent funnel. I mean, he carved out a good chunk of the 3 o'clock portion of the base. Hit play, pass straight into that first Inferno Tower, gets the jump spells out as well as the rage. Bowler's just carving through the space, and as you can see, the flank that's starting to cycle around the 8 o'clock to the 9 o'clock. It's a healthy amount of bowlers just ripping apart the exterior portion of this base, heading inward, allowing that core queen to continue to gut, grab that Wizzy Tower, grab that Inferno, activates her phase ability. She takes advantage of the jump spell and then hops into that 12 o'clock compartment to help clear the rest of these defenses, just barely taking the hit from that cannon, while the rest of those bowlers, witches, finish cycling the 12 and then ultimately getting that 3-star. Nicely executed. That was my second one. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks, and this was the number 5. All right, so he ran the Gobo Lalo. Opens up with that initial golem over by the 2. 2 o'clock, and the 12 on that cannon. As you can see, he's got those whizzies up by the 12 to help establish that funnel. And the initial third, the next golem comes out, drops the jump spell, which leads them directly in the core, hoping to grab the Archer Queen, as well as 2, 3, possibly 4, but 3 air defenses. And keeping in mind, he's got level 1 Inferno towers too. So it should allow these loons to just absolutely rip through the space, not needing any sort of freeze. Alright, so he drops the Hound. He begins flight. Guys, remember, time is of the essence. So generally when you start to creep up from the 1.5-minute mark, you really start to evaluate whether or not you are able to start your flight. Because the sooner you start flight, the more time you have to work with. Too many times I've seen those 98, 99% 2 stars. It's just, hell, I've even seen 98, 99% 1 stars. Just absolutely brutal on morale. So drops that haste. He does have some air skellies popping out, which actually, I've got to say, kind of caught me off guard, especially with a little bit lower weight 10. Generally, you see those skellies being set to ground to help kind of counter those minor attacks, those bow witch attacks, those hog attacks. Yeah, see, he's got more air skellies that kind of pop out in that Inferno compartment, which caught me off guard. However, you know, he executed accordingly. He was able to clear that base in time. The pups actually get pulled onto those skellies, and the base is ultimately just wrecked, finished. All right, so that was the last of the 10v10 triples. We had 5 of them. We're gonna hop into the 11v11s. So Reshi actually had the 11v11 6-pack, guys. 11v11 6-pack. Ran air on this one. Starts the Warden down by the 7 baby drag, picking up some of the trash, establishing that slight funnel there. King goes down, as well as the Queen bowlers. Opens up the wall with the wall break ability. He actually uses the Warden relatively early on. It was a good move. Able to keep those bowlers running. And the Queen is just taking and pounding from the Expo. Warden goes down. He activates her phase and then begins flight over by the 8 o'clock. Cycles all the way up damn near the 12. Oh, he does go all the way up to the 12:30 even with his flight. No loons on standby for back end nonsense. And he actually takes on this Tesla farm just brutally. Those loons just absolutely wreck. Plenty left, just beautifully executed attack. Very well done, Reshi. Handling business on this base. And then just plenty of time to clean up the garbage. Taking out the King even. Nice 3-star. Alright, and then we're going to look at his second attack, which was on the number 2 base. So it looks like he actually runs a similar attack style, similar troop comp. He's actually got some clone in here with it. 4 haste and a rage spell. So he drops the Warden down, baby drag, similar to how it opened up before. And then we're going to do a little bit of a ×2 here. Get the King out. Bowlers, Archer Queen, wall break straight into the base underneath the rage spell to ensure they actually get a successful break. Excuse me. And then pass straight into that Inferno tower. Bowlers start to carve all the way up to and through the 3 o'clock as he starts flight from the 3 to 12. Drops those hastes, kind of cycles up by the 11:30. He's got 2 more hastes still on standby at this point, still having a maxed out Inferno. His loons are starting to path into. And then easy peasy. Easy peasy. And absolutely just wrecks this base. Plenty of time, plenty of loons, that's for sure. And plenty of pups minions. Didn't even pop the enemy CC Hound. Alright, so something I did forget, I'm sorry guys, is pathing. I did promise someone on stream tonight that I would kind of help teach hog pathing a little bit. So I'm gonna bring this up. We're not really gonna have to show the whole attack again necessarily. I just kind of want to show what to look for and how to kind of plan your pathing for your hogs, so that way you know where they're gonna go, where the best places are to drop them. So I knew my kill squad. You know what? I have a better idea. Let's go ahead and snap a picture of this real quick. And let's bring up that sketch. That way you kind of get a little bit more visual here on what it is that I'm referring to and what I'm talking about. So, was it this base? Okay, it was. Okay, so from what you guys have seen during the attack itself, the kill squad's goal was to take out this chunk of the base, this section. Alright, so you kind of always want to plan for the worst. And what I mean by that is to assume over there by the 9 o'clock that my kill squad is not gonna be able to take that out. That you always got to plan for the worst. Alright, so just focus on the kill squad taking that circle, and then we're gonna start planning our hogs. So obviously my main mission is gonna be to take out that Inferno tower. That's gonna be the first thing I look at. What is the smoothest path straight into the Inferno tower? Now that I see that there's 2 wizard towers there, I have to think, alright, do I want to go into the wizard towers and then Inferno? Bearing in mind you can't drop a heal. You can drop a heal over an Inferno, but you're not going to get any healing done while the Inferno is cooking those hogs. So do I want to go into the Inferno first and then into the Wizzies? Bearing in mind that those Wizzy towers are going to be hitting the hogs while they're under the Inferno tower. So it's kind of one of those situations where, in my opinion, I always like to go straight into the wizard towers and then the Inferno, in my opinion. And a lot of times when it's set up like this, I like to bring a freeze spell, which I did. Bring a freeze spell so that way you can actually grab the wizard and the Inferno, and then you can actually heal under it while the giant bombs are getting triggered and you're clearing out those Wizzies. So anyway, I try and figure out, alright, so what's the pathing? What's going to ensure hogs get there? So I'm going to initially look at here, is where your hogs are going to go, and then hogs are then going to go there, and then there. Oops. What the hell? Oh, I guess I accidentally clicked the button. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so the path, what pathing means is the path that your hogs are going to take. Path your hogs are going to take. So they're going to go there, there, there. Now, the question is, are they going to go here or are they going to go here? So, I actually had a feeling they were going to go there. So the reason, that is why I drop hogs there. Oops, excuse me. Before they clear that archer tower. So you'll notice during the attack, as soon as these hogs go from here to here, and as they start making their way to this archer tower, that's when I drop these hogs going into this Wizzy. So that way they can both be taken out at the same time, so that way this main force of hogs can then path straight into this wizard towers where I want them to go, because from there I now know that they will be going into this Wizzy, or this Inferno tower, excuse me. Now a lot of you guys is probably thinking, well, what about that expo? Well, my kill squad is hopefully taking out that expo, but if not, then it should actually bounce from the expo to the Inferno tower. And then this group of hogs that's over here is going to continue to path up. They're going to hit the cannon, then hit the archer tower. Now keep in mind, guys, I kept 3 hogs on standby for this mortar to trickle in. So as they were kind of making their pathway from that cannon to archer tower, I threw in 3 more hogs on that mortar to kind of help assist and reinforce the hogs going in the exterior portion, and they start pathing their way around through the rest of the base. And at that point, the main mission has been accomplished, and that was the goal. Take out those main 2 Wizzies, the Inferno Tower, and then the Wizard Tower by the 10 o'clock, or by the Town Hall, and then by that point, it's your hogs ready to bring home that victory. So I hope that explains it. Let me know in the comments if you are at all confused by it, and I'll be happy to clear it up. And if you guys want me to do like maybe a YouTube video solely on padding, so I can probably go a little bit more in depth, just let me know. And yeah, so so hopefully you guys, you guys took something from that. It was just an incredible war. I feel like we had the opportunity almost to get the perfect on it. And like I said, shout out to the opposing clan. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, anytime you drop a 10v10 6-pack, it's always a fun war, am I right? So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, make sure you guys follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Scottoria, for live stream coverage of these wars, as well as some of the boot camps I like to put together. Like tonight, we did a 10v11 boot camp. We had an individual posting Town Hall 11 bases, and we were planning and executing attacks on it. As a stream, I was asking the viewers, what attack troop comp do you guys recommend? Because I'm trying to learn it myself. I'm trying to add that tool into my arsenal. And of course, follow me over at Twitter at @Scottoria. And then if you're interested in joining the Buy Forever family, Code Enigma here is actually a Buy Forever clan. It's one of the many clans that are in the family. I'll have the description in the YouTube description for the Discord link to be able to apply and become a recruit, and you'll be tested. And if you can hold up the standard, then you can possibly join the Buy Forever family. And yes, I am also still part of the Immortal War family, and I'll have that recruitment Discord link in the description as well. So appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I will see y'all hopefully again this weekend. Trying to make another video this weekend.